Hey guys, it's Mariela. Welcome back to my channel. So I recently traveled to Cancun, Mexico. So I'm going to give you guys a breakdown of absolutely everything that I spent in Cancun, Mexico, staying in an all-inclusive resort, which I have never done before because if you guys know me, I'm more of a backpacker solo traveler, but I went to an all-inclusive resort with someone else. So I feel like, you know, if you guys are planning to going on a vacation, it'll kind of give you an idea of how much to expect to spend per person. So yeah. And of course, if you guys want to see more videos like this, please be sure to smash that subscribe button, give this video a thumbs up to help me out with the algorithm. I will be making more videos of vacation costs, travel costs, because I love traveling. And I just feel like this could be very helpful because, you know, everyone wants to know how much a vacation is gonna cost, right? So yes. All right, so here is the breakdown. So pretty much a couple of things, like the categories that I broke it into. It's like how much the resort itself cost, how much excursions cost, because of course if you travel somewhere else, let's say even if you go to a resort that's all inclusive and that's great, you are gonna want to get out of the resort and like do other things and other activities, you know. So I included those, and also included even like how much money we spent on tipping people, because guys, even if you go to a resort where everything is all inclusive and it's like technically like, you know, you're not paying, like if you go to a restaurant, you're not paying for, you know, you're not leaving cash on the table, I guess, like they're still providing a service. So it would be nice for you to tip. Please don't be those type of people that like don't tip, especially like in countries like Mexico. They are getting paid a crap as is. Please be nice and at least like, you know, tip them for the service. And also dollars and euros in Mexico are worth a lot of Mexican pesos. So even if you tip someone $1 or $2, like they'll be grateful for it. So yeah, I included that in the numbers as well. Okay, so I'm gonna be telling you the prices of how much it costs like for 2 people, and then at the end I'll give you like the exact number of like if you split it per person. So the first things first, we stayed at an all-inclusive resort called Rio Caribe, all-inclusive. We booked it via Expedia, and when you book an all-inclusive, it's cool because, you know, usually every time I do my other trips, I have to like set aside like I have to set aside a budget for the flight, a budget for the hotel, a budget for food or whatever. But when you do an all-inclusive, it's all in one. Like you get unlimited food, you get unlimited beverages, alcoholic beverages, drinks, whatever. You get unlimited access to all of the stuff that it's in the resort, usually with the exclusion of like spas. Like you usually have to pay extra like to go to the spa or whatever. And usually the flight is also included in the cost. So all-inclusive includes all of that, so it's pretty cool. So we booked it via Expedia and it cost us about $1,696 for an all-inclusive for 2 people. So that included the room, the drinks, the food, and the flight. And I think the only thing I probably paid extra for was the hotel transportation, because the resort itself did not offer transportation. I had to book it like separately via Expedia, but I don't remember how much it was. I want to say it was probably like no more than $30 as a whole. Or another option is once you get over there, you could also take a cab. I just wanted to know exactly how much I was gonna be paying up front, because you know, cabs could sometimes, like it has happened to me when I've gone to like other countries, that like they try to rip you off. So it's best to just like get the option that Expedia offers, just to like be sure, and also be sure that you're getting picked up, you know. So the resort was really nice. I'm not gonna tell you that it was the most luxurious resort there was. It wasn't, but for what we paid for, it was really nice. It had like, there was bars everywhere. Like we get out of the room, there's a bar in every corner. There's bars on the pools, there's bars at the beach, there's bars at the lobby, there's bars in every restaurant. Like there was about 5 different restaurants. We were there for a total of 6 nights, 7 days, or 5 nights, 6 days, I don't know. But the point is that like we were able to eat in every restaurant, and we only repeated a restaurant probably like once or twice, like our favorite ones, but mostly like the breakfast was a buffet. There were some restaurants, most restaurants were buffets, and there were like 2 of them that were a la carte, whatever it's called. But they mostly like have the whole buffet scene because of COVID. Like they didn't want to expose the servers to like, you know, people at all times. Oh, and that's another thing, like COVID, whenever you book a resort or whatever, like it'll tell you the restrictions right then and there. Usually the restrictions mostly have to do to where you're going. There were no restrictions on going to Mexico in terms of COVID. Like they didn't care whether you got tested or not. They didn't care whether you were vaccinated or not. They just want you to come over. The restrictions were coming back into the United States. We had to be sure to get COVID tested within 72 hours of our flight coming into the States. And the awesome thing was that we did not have to pay for testing because it was also included in the resort. Like the resort actually had a testing site within the resort that you can go and get tested, and they will give you they will give you your results within like hours. So that was pretty awesome too. Like it was very comfortable. But the resort itself, honestly, like it was beautiful. Like we had fun on the beach, we had fun at the pool. There were pool games. They were very generous with the alcoholic beverages. There was a bar everywhere if you asked them to make the drinks like stronger. Like I was constantly drinking pina coladas and I was like, let me get an extra shot of rum in there, and they were happy to do so. And we even had a bar like in the room. Like if I got into the room with a pina colada in my hand, I could just make it stronger myself. So that was awesome. Like everything was absolutely unlimited. They had entertainment, they had shows. Like we went to watch like a Michael Jackson imitator. They had they always had something going on, which was pretty cool. Like they were committed to keeping their guests entertained. So that was awesome. Once we were in Cancun, Mexico, so we were there for almost a week. So obviously that was my very first time staying in a resort. I'm more of a like, let's go explore type of person. So I told my boo thing, like there is no way in hell I'm gonna stay within the resort for that long. We have to go out and do activities. So since we were there for almost a week, I pretty much planned it that every other day we were doing an activity. So the day we got there pretty early. So the day we got there, we got to chill, we went to the pool, we went to dinner. The next day activity, then the day after that, we just chilled. The day after that, an activity. The day after that, chill. Like, so pretty much every other day, we were either staying in the resort or going out of the resort to do an activity. So the activities, I booked one of them via Expedia, and I booked another one via Get Your Guide. Those are usually the ones that I always use to like book activities, like no matter what country I go to. I think there's also like TripAdvisor or whatever. So I don't know, wherever you find it the cheapest, just like go for it. So we did three full day activities in total. The very first one we did was a boat activity that it was we got picked up. That's another thing. Like all of these activities include like pick up from the resort and drop off, so we didn't have to figure out like how we're gonna get there and whatnot. So the first one, it was the catamaran. I don't know if I'm saying that right. Catamaran. It's a boat. It was a boat ride to Isla Mujeres. If you know what Isla Mujeres is, it's an island across from Cancun. You know, you gotta take a boat to get there. And pretty much what it was is, you know, they picked us up from the resort, they took us to the boat. The boat then goes to Isla Mujeres, and then we get to chill in Isla Mujeres the whole day. And over there, they include unlimited drinks, beverages, alcoholic beverages, and a buffet as well. So we get to just, you know, chill on the beach, eat, drink, enjoy Isla Mujeres, which is an absolute beautiful beach. Like staying in Isla, instead of going to Cancun and staying in Isla Mujeres would be like way more expensive. So it's nice just to go and see what other fuss is about. And at the end of the day, yeah, back on the boat. Oh, they also took us snorkeling, which I didn't do because I can't swim. But it was also part of the activity, like snorkeling. Also that day it was terrible. Like it was, the beginning of the day was very rocky because it was like raining, it was pouring, and we were like on the boat, and we were like, why isn't this like getting canceled? But hey, they knew better. They knew it was gonna clear up. It was the beginning of raining season in Mexico, but usually the way that goes is like it'll rain for like an hour or two, and then you'll have like absolute beautiful clear skies. And we did, like, it was so nice. Like by the time we got to Isla Mujeres, like there was not one cloud in the sky. It was beautiful. We had so much fun. We met other people while on the island. So on the way back, we were like partying on the boat. Like, oh, also there were drinks available on the boat, like beer, cocktails. It was amazing. And that cost us $156 to book on, I believe I booked that one via Get Your Guide, and it was $156. They do have cheaper options, like if you don't want a hotel pickup. But honestly guys, like if you're in a foreign country and there's hotel pickup available, it's usually not, it usually doesn't make the price of the thing any like too much higher, I guess. Like it'll usually be like anywhere from like $10 to $30 more. And again, if you're unfamiliar with that country and you think I'll just try to figure out how to get there on my own, it'll probably cost you more to take a cab. And you don't want to have to figure out where you're going. Like you got to get there like a freaking 7 in the morning. Just have them pick you up and pay extra. So for two people, for two adults, it was $156. And then when we got to like the bay where we're gonna take the boat, like there was an extra fee of like $15 per person, like a tax or something. So it was $156 pre-booked, and then we got there, we had to pay $30. So in total, it was $186 not per person, sorry. It was $186 for two people. So that's pretty good in my opinion. And with the amount of, and it was an entire day trip, and with the amount of fun that we had, the food was great, the drinks were great. With the amount of food fun that we had, it was absolutely worth it. Okay, so 2 days later, we went on another trip so this was actually my second time going to Cancun. And I actually decided to go back because the first time that I went, it was not the best experience. I didn't stay in an all-inclusive, and I didn't get to do the activities. Like there's so much to do in Cancun, Mexico, and that's why it makes it such a awesome place to go travel to. But something that I absolutely wanted to do, and one of the reasons why I needed to go back to Cancun, Mexico, is that I wanted to see one of the 7 world wonders, which is in Yucatan, Mexico, which is about, I don't remember how long the drive was, but it's one of the activities that you can book to go to, let me see if I can pronounce this right, Chichen Itza pyramids. That is a must, guys. If you go to Cancun, Mexico, that is a must do. You get to see one of the 7 world wonders of the world, and it's absolutely worth it. So that trip, I believe I booked it via Expedia, and I was actually surprised of how cheap it was to book it via Expedia. It was about $84 for two people, not per person. For two people, it was $84, and the amount of things that included, it was amazing. It was again, hotel pickup. I mean, and they picked us up so early, guys. It was crazy. Like we got picked up like at 6 in the morning, but that was because the ride to Yucatan, it was so far. I think it was like 3 hours long. I did not read the description, so I didn't know how that this trip was gonna be so long, to the point that we did not have an adequate breakfast. Like we were so hungry by the time we got there. But on the way there, they actually made a stop, and they made a stop in this other city. I forgot the name of the city, but over there you got to see like other historical sites. You got to see like this church that was like a historical site and very well known in Mexico. So that was pretty cool too. Like you got to see different things. So the first stop was that town with the church. Then the second stop, we drove all the way to the Chichen Itza pyramids, which were amazing, so beautiful. I was so glad I got to see them. Like I was so excited to be there. And once we were there, we did have to pay some extra tariffs and taxes, because pretty much the $84 included the hotel pickup and some of the other activities as well, but it did not include the ticket to get into looking at the pyramids. So I believe that came out to, it was like $30 per person when we were there, because it was like it was like $20 per entrance plus like $10 worth of like some taxes or something. So we did have to pay an extra like $60. So $30 per person, $60 in total, which honestly, again, I did not read the description as well as I should have. So that did take me by surprise. I did not know we had to pay that much when we got there, but if you're watching this, now you know. And after we saw the Chichen Itza pyramids, we then went to, let me see, where did we go to next? I believe we went to eat lunch after that. The lunch was included already. It was a buffet, it was included. The only things that were not included were like the beverages. They did have like alcoholic beverages and just like sodas and whatever, so we did have to pay extra for that, but it wasn't that crazy. It was only like an extra like $10 or so, and of course we did like give some extra like tipping money. And then another stop that we went to, it was one of the very well-known cenotes in Yucatan. And a cenote, if you don't know, it's like pretty much a body of water like encased in a cave. And that was so amazing. Like, it was so fun. Like I said, guys, I can't swim. And there's actually like, there was a plank where you could like jump off from. And they made us wear life vests the whole time. So I just went ahead and jumped anyway. So that was so fun. It's definitely one of the must-see sites if you go to Cancun, Mexico. Where else did they take us? They then took us to like, when we went to the restaurant, there was also like a store that they take you where you could buy like artifacts if you want or whatnot. So that was also like part of the trip. Honestly, guys, in total with the entrance to having to go into to look at the pyramids, it came out to about $144, for 2 people. And honestly, with the amount of things that we got to do that day, like we saw, we got to walk around a city and look at like one of the famous churches. We got to look at the Chichen Itza pyramids. We got to go to the cenote. We got to go to a buffet. Like, it was a very long, tiring day. And even though I was kind of mad at the surprise that I had to pay for like extra stuff when we got there, when I really thought about it, I was like, okay, we just probably spent like with tip and drinks and everything, no more than like $155. And it was like a blast. It was like a very long day filled with awesome activities. We got to interact with awesome people. Like, it was fun, totally worth it. And then 2 days after that, we decided to go. If you go to Cancun, Mexico, you will hear these words a million times. Congo bongo. You will hear them, I promise. If you try to go walk around Cancun, like to where the malls are, whatever, you're gonna have all these salespeople like Congo bongo, Congo bongo, Congo bongo. Like, they would try to get you to go to this damn Congo bongo no matter what. So we actually did not go to Congo bongo is usually like, it's a nightclub thing. I'm not crazy about nightclubs, guys. And honestly, like, I was even though we're in Mexico, we're having fun, I still try to be very like aware of like COVID and all that stuff. So the idea of being in a crowded club at night did not, appeal to me. But then when we were in the resort, we were chilling in the pool, and we had one of the salesperson come up to us, be like,
hey, you want to go to the Congo Bongo beach party?
And we were like, man, we don't really want to spend money on that. Like, we already did all the activities that we had to do. And it was usually to go to the Congo Bongo beach party is $50 per person. But the salesperson was being so insisting. He was like,
hey, I'll give you a deal.
So he was like, I'll give you free entrance for the lady, and only the men have to pay. So then it was $50 for 2 people, and once you get to the beach party, drinks are included. And I was like, oh, well, shit, if you put it that way, if you split it between 2 people, that's only $25 per person to go party and still have unlimited drinks. Like, we were like, you know what, shit, let's go do it. In my mind, I thought it was gonna be a beach party, but when we got there, it was actually a pool party, which gave me a little bit of anxiety because I'm like, oh, there's too much people, it's too crowded, but a couple of drinks in, guys, honestly, I just kind of let loose. And honestly, we had so much fun. Like, again, I am not a party person, But we got there, we started drinking, we met other people, we met so many people that were also from like the United States, like we got acquainted with them. We were just like having fun, and honestly for $25 per person, $50 in total, it was fun. They actually also included transportation, which we didn't even know. Like we saw the salesperson the day after. They were like, where are you guys? We're waiting for you to like pick you up. And we didn't know that. We actually ended up taking the bus there, but the bus, it's like 50 cents per person, and it wasn't that bad of a ride, so it didn't really matter. But yeah, it was still fun. Like that day we had so much fun, like partying so hard. Totally worth it. If you could get the same deal, like pretty much 2 people for $50, if you could get that same deal, absolutely go for it. It was totally worth it. Yeah guys, and that's pretty much everything we did in Mexico. All-inclusive resort, all the activities and the partying. What I did mention earlier is tipping. Guys, please don't be that person. Like we were there, while we were there, we would go to the restaurants, and even after the activities, you know, the excursion managers, or like, you know, the people that are like, you know, taking you to these places, be kind and tip them. If you see they have a tip jar, it's because they expect a tip. And you know, when we were on our way back from one of the excursions, we noticed that like everyone was getting dropped off, and on their way out, like nobody was tipping. We were like one of the last people, and they actually said it, you know, like, oh, if you could find it in your heart to tip us, that'd be great, because they get paid crap. And we were like one of the last people to get dropped off, and when we went to like drop off our tips on the tip jar, we were like, it was empty. Like nobody was tipping out here, and that really sucked. Especially like we noticed we would even get like special treatment at the bars. Like whenever I asked them to like make the drinks extra strong, like they will make them extra strong, no doubt, because we were probably one of the few people that were tipping. And you know, when you tip them, they remember you, and they want to be extra nice to you when they see you, because they know they're gonna get tipped, you know. So yeah, just tip, you know. So pretty much what we did is before we even got there, we did set aside a tipping budget. We cashed out $200, so we had $200 in singles. That we were there for like almost a week, and by the end of the week we still had like a good amount of the singles. So by the end of the week we just started like extra tipping, because we were trying to get rid of the singles. But yeah, just set aside a $200. I mean, it could probably be less. Like I said, we still had a lot left at the end, so it could probably be less than that, maybe $100 even. But just have like, you know, a decent stack of singles to tip people, you know, and just be nice. So yeah guys, including everything that I just said, the resort, all-inclusive, the flight, all the activities, the pool party, plus the tip budget, we spent in total about $2,276 for 2 people. If you divide that by 2, that comes out to $1,138 per person, which again, we were there for almost a week. With the amount of activities we got to do, with the amount of food we got to eat, with the amount of drinks we got to drink, and with the amount of fun we got to have, guys, $1,138, you know, if you're paying for yourself and the person is paying for themselves, like, it's worth it. It was so worth it. It was so amazing. One thing that I didn't include in this budget is like how much money we spent in souvenirs. I mean, if you spent money in souvenirs or not, that's up to you. I personally have learned from the amount of times that I've traveled, like I don't really care much for souvenirs. Like I'll buy myself like a keychain or whatever, but I don't go wild like trying to buy everyone else something to bring back to them. But yeah, like that's how much I spent, that's how much we spent, and it was totally worth it. I hope this video helped you out if you're planning on going to Cancun, Mexico. Oh, I'm actually gonna do you a solid. I'm just gonna go ahead and link everything in the description, like the Expedia stuff, the Get Your Guide stuff. Like I'm just gonna link everything down below, so you know, if you wanna go and stay there, you could book it. And I feel like it's also a way for me to help the tour guides, because they were awesome. Like the trips that we took were absolutely awesome. So I really hope this video helped you out. Leave some comments down below. Let me know if you're planning on going to Cancun, Mexico. Have you been before? What do you think of how much we spent? Like, does that sound cheap to you? Does that sound expensive? I personally thought it was a really good price. And of course, be sure to subscribe. Give this video a thumbs up to help me out with the algorithm. Be sure to follow me on Instagram. And other than that was my dog. And other than that, I will see you on the next one. And yeah, I'll make sure to make more videos like this for you guys to make it helpful for your travels. Bye.